What is up, Fanatics? It's 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and that means another episode of Home Theater Fanatics Live. Tonight is episode 128, and we have a whopper of an episode for you. You know, I was talking to these guys just before we started, and I was telling them that I'm so happy that their company's finally made it to the point where they can come on an illustrious show like this, and I'm so happy for them. Then they just kind of gave me the half smile, like, what are you talking about? Today, we've got Mike and Mark from none other than Klipsch, a brand that I'm sure you guys might have heard of from time to time. And you might have even seen another live stream with these guys on the screen. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. But guys, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming.
Good to be here, Jiles.
Right? Thanks, Jiles. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So for the people that might not know who you guys are, maybe we can take just a couple of minutes and introduce who you are and maybe, you know, what Klipsch is all about. So folks can kind of get a grounding in what they're watching tonight. And Mark, maybe I've known you the longest, so you get to go first.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of a fixture. Been with the company 30 years now, but I'm currently Senior VP of Branded Business Development. So I kind of have my hands in a few things.
That's cool. Awesome.
Keeps it interesting.
Right on. And Mike, what about you?
Yeah, so I have been with Klipsch about 10 years now. Mark actually hired me at Klipsch. Crazy. 30 years, Mark. That's insane. So I'm the senior product manager for what we call connected audio. So soundbars, powered monitors, and pretty much anything that plugs into a wall and then plugs into a TV.
So soundbars, the 5s, the 6s, all that kind of good stuff.
All that good stuff. Yep.
Right on, right on. You know, they say that Klipsch is kind of like Hotel California because you can check out, but you can never leave.
That's a good one.
That's, yeah.
That's a funny one.
Oh, and then Klipsch itself. What's the main product portfolio that Klipsch is producing these days? What are you guys doing?
Man, well, we our core will always be the component audio. So our reference Premier line, our reference line, we are very well known for our heritage line, which are Paul Klipsch's original designs from when he started the company 75 years ago and throughout his career. So a lot of very high market share in component audio, but also in sort of 2-channel, hi-fi listening. And we, anyone that's been following tech news knows this year we are heavily invested in true wireless headphones with active noise canceling, as well as Dolby Atmos soundbars, which we're going to talk about tonight. So sort of the next generation of that Klipsch audio experience.
That's cool. And let's I think this is a good point to segue over into the new stuff, because you guys have just released, and this is about a month ago, something like that, the Cinema 800 and the Cinema 12. Do you call it the 1200 or the 1200 or the 1200s? Or
the 1200. We call it the 1200.
The 800 and the 1200 sound bars. And before you guys had it was a 600 and then a 400. Was that right?
Correct, and those are still in the market, but so the 400 and the 600 are sort of, I don't want to say bare bones, but 2.1 and 3.1 systems, and the 800 and the 1200 introduce HDMI eARC and Dolby Atmos decoding and Wi-Fi and Ethernet connectivity. So it sort of ups the ante on the user experience as well as the acoustic experience as well.
That's awesome. So let's break this down, and don't dance. Like, I've said that to people and they're just like, all
Mark,
right. I'm like, no.
Don't do it, Mark.
I mean,
I'll exercise some restraint this time.
Just hold it in.
This time.
So you've got the 800, and then the 1200 is the step up model.
Correct.
But many of the features are contained in both of the units. Maybe we can step through those a little bit and talk about what they both bring to the table, and then what the differences might be.
Yeah, so in both of the soundbars, the electronic platform, meaning I/O, is essentially the same. So 2 HDMI inputs plus HDMI eARC connectivity. I mentioned Wi-Fi and Ethernet connectivity that allows you to get on a Google Home ecosystem, an Amazon Alexa ecosystem. It's compatible with Spotify Connect as well. Both bars are. And then both bars are compatible with our Klipsch Connect app as well.
Yeah,
Now,
and let's not forget, because I want to get into that in a little bit, because I think that's important. But keep going.
Yeah. Both bars do decode Dolby Atmos, but the way they reproduce it is vastly different. So, getting into the differences between the two bars, if you think about the I/O and the user experience as being very similar, the acoustic differences, like I said, are vast. So the 1200 has up-firing Atmos channels. So it actually has 4 channels. It's a 5.1.4 system. So 4 channels of up-firing Atmos. It includes the surrounds, the wireless surround speakers in the box with the system. So not only do you get the bar, which is a 3.1 bar with 2 up-firing Atmos channels, you get a 12-inch 500-watt wireless subwoofer and 2 wireless speakers that have Atmos up-firing channels in them as well.
Right. So those wireless satellites then there's really 4 channels of information: left and right Atmos and left and right surround.
Exactly right. Yep. If you sort of move down to the 800, there are actually no up-firing speakers in the 800. And this is important because it still virtualizes the Atmos experience, and virtualizing Atmos is kind of an oxymoron, because what's beautiful about Atmos is the Atmos decoding knows how many speakers it's working with, and through phase manipulation, frequency response manipulation, it places the different audio objects in the room, even without up-firing speakers. Now, if you move up to the 1200, obviously you get a more realistic, more immersive experience. But the 800, just as a 3.1 system without wireless surrounds added on, is truly a 360-degree Atmos experience. It's really incredible.
Right on. Yeah, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't really understand around the Atmos concept. When you say Atmos, most people assume that you are referring to height speakers, right?
Correct.
Atmos, when you have height speakers, takes advantage of that and will place those Atmos objects to play from those speakers, because the processor knows that they exist. But you can still decode Atmos and have all of that audio information still be reproduced when you only have bed channels.
Exactly right.
Just won't be in a height speaker.
Exactly right. Yeah. You will perceive it as being, above your head, to the side, or behind you. Maybe not as true to life or dynamic or as impactful as you would get with up-firing height channels, but it's still there. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've not played with the 1200 yet, but I have extensively used, the 1200, but I have extensively used the 800, and it does really, really well with Atmos mixes. I mean, that info is there. And, sometimes you'll say, is that coming from, how's it, you'll get a little bit of that in there, and you'll get that expanded sound feeling, although you really don't have the speakers. Now, a couple of things that I want to cover off on are really the implementation use cases of both of these soundbars, right? Because that's one of the questions I get asked a lot. Folks are like, well, how do I install this into my system? And with the introduction of eARC, it really makes this very interesting, because you can use it in a lot of ways. And you tell me where I go off the rails here, but if you want to, you could use this as kind of like an AVR substitute, meaning that you can have this connected to your television with the eARC just to send video up, but then you can have multiple components input through the 2 ports. Am I correct on that one?
Yes, exactly right. So 2 HDMI ports, for example, the system I run at home, I run an Apple TV into one of the HDMIs. I run eARC up to the TV to send video. What's really beautiful about these bars is it's 4K HDR, 8K HDR pass through as well. So, you're really future-proofing your audio component as well as your video component when you buy a Cinema Series soundbar.
That's cool. And then, just from the point of view where you want to use this as a soundbar with a television, the eARC will then carry all the audio from all of your streaming apps built into the TV, right? So you can use it from that point of view.
Exactly right. And that's where the eARC becomes important, because if you're running it from the TV, it's able to pass fully lossless, Dolby True HD. So essentially Dolby Atmos that's not compressed like you would see, on a streaming app, whereas you would get lossless Atmos on a Blu-ray player. It can send via eARC because of the higher bandwidth, both the lossless audio and the high resolution, ultra high resolution HDR video.
That's awesome. Let's take a couple of minutes here. I want to shout out to some folks that have jumped in. So Thinking Impaired loves his Klipsch. And I don't know that
Cool.
that would indicate that you are thinking impaired, but
No.
maybe that means you're thinking in the right way. I don't know. Hi-Fi Haven, welcome to the show. Hi-Fi Haven's here every week. I'd love to have him here in the audience, along with Double A, two of my favorite people. So thanks for joining in with us. And then a whole scat of folks that I haven't met before, but thanks everybody for jumping in. If you have any questions, feel free to post those up and we'll cover those and check it out. Hi-Fi Haven says he's using R100 SW subs here in the TV room. Well done, sir. Well done, sir. Yeah, I actually just did yet another Klipsch video with the RP600Ms, a fan favorite. They love to see content around those. And that one dropped not too long ago. So cool. Let's talk a little bit about the app, right? Mm-hmm. And if you roll back the clock, I don't know, a year, 2 years, something like that, to whenever the 400 and 600 were released, the app didn't seem to be doing a whole bunch back then, but now, and I know there's even more to come, and that's really what I want to get into. But when I set up this 800 now, the app for me was instrumental in the process, and it made it really easy to get Wi-Fi set up for the sound. I mean, it was a pretty big deal. Yeah. Right. And so what all is the app doing now, and what is it going to do in the future?
Yeah. So the app really serves as sort of an onboarding, and this is Klipsch Connect. If you go on iOS or Android and search Klipsch Connect, this is a single app that's meant to work with any of our connected products. So soundbars, the fives, all of our T5 true wireless headphones. Mark's holding them up there. But that's the beauty of it.
Let's talk a little bit about that in a minute too.
Okay. You have one app to control all of your Klipsch connected devices. The app was originally launched as sort of an onboarding tool, right? To kind of walk you through the installation, the setup of your product. We'd have short videos or graphics. If you want to connect your soundbar to HDMI on a TV, here's how you do it. If you want to connect it via optical to a TV, here's how you do it. If you need to get in touch with our customer service team, one tap can connect you to the customer service team. With the 800 and the 1200, we've sort of opened up this functionality of helping you get the bar on your network. It'll also help you get the bar onto your Amazon Alexa system. Google, you can do through the Google Home app. You can also add it as a device through your Alexa app as well. But we wanted you to be able to do as much as you could in terms of onboarding or setting up your device, getting it ready for enjoyment every day. Now, August 30th, which is about 3 weeks from now, we will be launching not only all of this great onboarding access through the app, but EQ for the bar, individual channel adjustment, which you can do in the IR remote right now or through the IR remote, but you're essentially adjusting your surround channels, your front height channels, or your rear height channels. The app will give you individual adjustments of all the channels in the system, including subwoofer, in addition to EQ. And then, of course, virtual remote control, which essentially means anything the IR remote control can do, you can do with the app now.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. Yeah. Now, this is, I don't know if this is something that's planned in the future, or it might be pie in the sky, but I wonder if there would ever be an opportunity to use an app to do some kind of quasi auto room EQ correction kind of. Oh, Mark smiled, and I haven't looked, and I don't know if this is just me making this up, but is that a possibility? Because I've seen that technology before, and that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, so it is a possibility. We are working on that right now. We want to make sure the algorithm is really perfected, because there are a couple things you have to do when you have that technology. You one have to figure out what kind of device you're using,
Mhm.
and then calibrate the microphone.
Yep.
Because especially on the Android side, there are so many different pieces of hardware
Yep.
that a user can be holding to do that room setup. But yeah, that's a high priority for us, and I think you likely see something shortly in the app.
Wow. That's
Giles,
Shortly is a relative term, but
I'll point out though that this is a closed loop system. I mean, this is engineered as one, and the engineers have spent countless, months and maybe even years getting this dialed in, like a finely calibrated home component system.
Right.
And the nature of our approach with controlling directivity, and you and I think we met at Rocky Mountain Audio Fest, right?
In 19.
Isn't that where we?
Yeah. In 19.
And so we're showing all the heritage stuff, which is the epitome of controlled directivity.
Yeah,
and for all
I
your
keep
listeners,
waiting for those Klipsch horns, but
yeah. Oh.
I know what's that. I can't.
We'll talk offline on that one. But for all your listeners, with horn loading, we take a deliberate approach about controlling the release of sound and energy into the listening room within the entire bandwidth. Very controlled, even distribution or dispersion, and that's very true for the front channels. Obviously your left, center, right channels, and of course the elevation channels, which are focused per Dolby's specific requirements to give you that illusion of a sound source above you, and of course the surrounds. So giving you all the direct energy into your listening area, and then of course the overhead energy, precisely engineered, precision tuned. And I have mixed feelings about these calibration systems because they're kind of bouncing test tones off your wall, and they're guessing about your materials and the distance, and it can screw things up, is my point.
Yeah.
I'm a little old school when it comes to that. I mean, I get the measuring tape out. Mike laughs at me, but of course I'm old school. I've been around forever. But the point is, taking the measurements, listening, getting a sound level meter, calibrating, listening in different positions, getting your sub set up properly. By the way, Mike mentions all these different adjustment capabilities of these systems to do just that, dial it in for your room. And it can be a large room, it can be a smaller room, an intimate room. These are meant to fill those spaces with really precision home theater sound. And, even if you want to add another sub, you can do that. I'm a believer, as you know, in multiple subs. I mean, 2 is better than 1.
I did notice on the back of the sub included with the 800 that there is a in and out, I believe. So
Correct.
Is that how you would add a second? You would chain it off that one?
Yes,
you can do it that way. You can take it right off the bar. But the purpose of 2 subs is room.
Smooth out
smoothing it out.
Yeah.
It's actually making that bass distribution more smooth and even for all the listeners. So with 1 sub in the proper spot, you can get great performance. If you do the sub crawl, I think your listeners are familiar with that. But with 2 subs, it basically does room calibration. Rooms are most sensitive to bass loading, I think. The nature of our designs, our horn loading, it takes that variable out of the equation. It makes it more consistent from room to room to room because of our controlled directivity. But bass continues to be a big variable in every room. It is definitely the variable that can also affect the balance of highs to mids to the lows. If the lows aren't there, things might sound bright, but if the lows are really hopped up, well, then maybe it sounds dull. And to have it balanced, that's what the engineers have really worked hard on. So, when I hear about room calibration, I can't help. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I always kind of have a smirk.
Mark, you and I have talked about this. The first thing you're supposed to do when you get an AVR is set up the auto room calibration. The second thing you do is turn off the auto room calibration because it not only messes with the frequency response, but it messes with the dynamic compression of the entire system. And so I think Giles, when we talk about perfecting an algorithm, we're trying to build an algorithm for room correction that doesn't take away from the experience. And I think that's what a lot of manufacturers struggled with in the past.
Certainly, that makes a lot of sense. Taking the room correction future technology off the table and just thinking about the system that exists today. So I tested the 800 in the 3.1 configuration, so without the surrounds,
Right.
and setup for me was very straightforward. And I ear tuned the system. I didn't pull out REW and measure and try. So I just sat down, set everything up, put the sub in a spot that worked for the room. And I'm sure there's a better spot, but this is the one that had the least amount of pushback from everybody else in my home. So that's where it lives.
That's another factor. Yeah,
that's another factor. But for me to tune this to what I thought sounds really good was as simple as I pulled out the remote control and I pointed it and I took the subwoofer and I moved it down 2 clicks and it was awesome. I mean, for me, that's all I needed to do, and it sounded really great. And for me, this this product really preserves what I considered to be the essence of Klipsch sound, right? So this this isn't like some kind of product that you guys built that you just wanted to have a sound bar to have a sound bar, but this to me really feels and sounds like Klipsch. I set it up and I even mentioned this in the video. It's like your classic Klipsch sound, you'll be able to recognize it, but with all the cool technology and toys that you really you have to have today. I mean, if you want to be relevant, this is the stuff that you have to have, and you guys now have it in these sound bars, and it really has taken these from as compared to the 400 and 600, from it's kind of cool, let's plug some RCAs in or something, right, and you can do some stuff and it's all right, to okay, this is really flexible. This does a lot of stuff. This gets me my Atmos sound and that I want, right? I mean, before you lost a lot. If you have access to 7.x.4 or whatever, right? You can now take that information and replay it and get, while maybe not the same experience that you get in a $200,000 home theater, but it's pretty darn good.
Well, the content, streaming content is awesome. I mean, Netflix, the 4K subscription with Atmos. I mean, there's a lot of Atmos content. I mean, it's fun. And
I listen to it every day.
Yeah. Tidal.
Every day on the
Tidal
soundbar.
music, right? You can stream Tidal with your, TV as well.
Absolutely.
I've got a Sony behind me, and just being able to, use Atmos with a soundbar with easy to access content. I mean, that's the name of the game, I think, today. I mean, soundbar, HDMI connection, new TV, boom. And then, of course, the TV remote operates the bar. It's effortless. You don't have to teach anything.
CEC worked perfectly. And all I need to do now is pull out my NVIDIA Shield remote and I can control everything. Or I could take the soundbar remote and I can control pretty much everything. It's really cool. And I think this is going to take us down to segment number 2 of the show. And this is the tech question of the week. So today on Home Theater Fanatics, the tech question of the week is, why would you choose a soundbar for your media room? So Mike and Mark from Klipsch, why? I mean, we've been touching on this a little bit, but when someone's thinking about, okay, this is what I want to buy, should I go out and spend money on X, Y, or Z, or the 800 or the 1200, what would push somebody into the 800 or 1200?
Mike, so I'll let you go first.
Yeah, when we start on any product from the product development side, we always put together sort of a philosophy of why does this need to exist. And for the Cinema 800 and Cinema 1200, the philosophy was, we don't want to build a soundbar. We want to build a home theater system that is in the form factor of a soundbar, meaning, we have wood box construction. Nobody else builds a soundbar out of wood like we do. It's the same material that we build our heritage speakers out of our reference Premier speakers, reference. Everything we make is made out of wood, and we take a lot of pride in that. It's just a much more acoustically sound material.
MDF.
MDF, yeah.
Yes.
Right. Second, they're horn loaded, just like our Pro Cinemas speakers, just like every speaker we make. And then lastly, these are the largest, most powerful subwoofers on the market. We are not trying to make a soundbar with a subwoofer that's going to, tuck nicely into a corner and be out of sight, tuck nicely behind a couch and be out of sight. we didn't want the soundbar user to sacrifice acoustic performance or audio experience. And that's exactly what these have done. They've brought the true component audio experience to someone that just wants a plug and play solution. So that's why you should have a soundbar in your media room, as long as it's a Klipsch CINEMA series soundbar.
Right on. And so just to expand on that just a little bit more. So, you know, you really aren't going to miss out on what I would consider to be the building blocks of a true component home theater system or media room system. And what I mean by that is you can have 5.1 surround sound. You can have 4 channels of Atmos. You can use this as either an eARC off your television to grab the audio input from a TV app, or you can use it as an AVR type of preamp where you have an NVIDIA Shield, you have a Xbox, you have a PlayStation, or whatever your sources might be that you plug into these as well, right? So all of that functionality is there. You're not cutting the corners on that at all.
No, I like that NVIDIA Shield, by the way, and I have a Blu-ray player connected too, because I still have Blu-rays, you know. And, you know, I saw a comment there. They thought they're on the wrong site. Home Theater Fanatics were talking about soundbars. but you know, let me add this comment to what Mike said. The home theater experience, the component audio in the shape of a soundbar. There are many people out there that think home theater is a big TV. You know, you go buy your big, beautiful TV and, oh, I've got this great home theater. It's this 85-inch giant screen, and everyone comes over and is like, yeah, we can't hear what they're saying. What's the dialogue?
What is that?
There, you know?
What?
And I think there are home theater fanatics to be made with the simplicity and elegance and performance of these bars, because, you know, how many people just don't want to deal with the complexity, the wires, the hassle of component home theater. I love, I mean, this room's full of that stuff, but there are plenty of customers, potential customers out there that have no idea how much they will savor a true home theater experience, which is sound plus video. And these bars will turn people into home theater fanatics with, am I allowed to say, kick-ass Klipsch soundbars connected? You know, I mean, that's going to be the difference. And by the way, it's not just about the movies; it's about the music. I love using Google Cast and sending Qobuz and Tidal playlists to the bar and rocking out. I mean, people with that big, beautiful TV, when they throw a party, they can also crank the tunes and have their friends connect to it and share playlists and just jam on this system. So this is a finely tuned, well-balanced surround system that happens to also will get you in trouble with neighbors for its music playback capability. It is a Klipsch, by the way. You know, it has to rock. It has to. It has to. Before that brand goes on, it has to be a powerhouse. And it makes sense. We have some unfair advantages. I say unfair, but I don't really care about that, because the horn loading gives us the drivers the ability to move more air with less effort. I mean, we have this advantage over small dinky drivers that are out there with long throw, high output capability, high efficiency, low distortion drivers, just like in the Klipsch tradition of all of our component speakers. So our sound bars have this built in. That's why they sound like, you said it, Jiles, they sound like Klipsch because they have it built in, the dynamic attributes of what we put into our
they sound like Klipsch because they are Klipsch, right? It follows all this. You know, if I could put in one feature request on your sound bars and all of your mic, all the stuff that you work with, Rune endpoint. That I know
this
you
is
haven't heard that one before.
Fanatics.
Yeah, so, I have a lot of love for 2-channel in my heart, and that is the only thing with the soundbar that I find myself missing. You know, and it's kind of funny because all of my checkmark boxes for home theater-ish kind of stuff, you know, especially the 1200, it check marks those boxes. You can really have that genuine experience with that really good sound. And the 1200's rocking a 12-inch sub too, right? I think the 800 is at 10, and man, that 1200 system, I got to check that out. But I mean, it check marks all the boxes. But yeah, the room would be cool. Now, I think something that's important to call out for everyone, and I've had a number of people ask me this already. They're like, where can I get one and where can I see one? Where can I hear this thing? Right. I'm like, well, first you could come to my house. And they're like, I don't live in Colorado. Beyond that, where is the best place to shop, and where could people hear this if they wanted to? Is that a possibility out there somewhere?
It totally depends on where everyone's at. I will say, if you order it on Klipsch.com, try it out for a few days, send it back to us if you don't like it. We offer free returns on anything purchased on our website, free shipping and free returns. So keep that in mind. Right now, it is available at Crutchfield and Audio Advice. So if you are in the North Carolina, Charlotte, or Raleigh-Durham, obviously go into Audio Advice and check it out. But if you just want to order one, I promise you will not be dissatisfied. Crutchfield.com, audioadvice.com, or Klipsch.com.
Right on. And then as far as configurations go, you can get the 800 in a 3.1 with the sub. So it comes in the big box,
Correct.
It's got the bar and a sub.
Correct.
And now, is there a kit that has the 2 surrounds in the box, or is that always an add-on?
S3.
It's an it's an add-on. There are wireless surrounds called the Surround 3 that are actually compatible with the Cinema 600 as well. And you would add those on. But like we mentioned earlier, Jiles, the Cinema 1200 has everything in the box. So 800 comes as a 3.1 system. You can add on the wireless surrounds. The 1200 is 5.1.4, all or nothing.
That's awesome. Cool. That's got to come on a pallet or something, because that's the 800 box is pretty big. I can't even imagine the 1200. All right, folks. We are closing up on the end of our time. Mike, Mark, anything else you guys want to call out? And as one more question, are you guys going to be at any of the shows this year? Rocky Mountain, Axpona, Cedia, anything like that?
So we will be at Axpona. Rocky Mountain, I'm not sure about, actually. That's a Jill Eskel question. We will be at Cedia. Cedia is right in our backyard. We're based in Indianapolis, and it's in Indianapolis this year. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody. Just a few weeks. So
super close. Right on.
It's very close.
Cool. And I guess the only other topic before we close this one out completely, you flashed up, Mark, something just a second ago that I want everyone to take a look at, because these are cool. I've seen some pictures up on the web so far, and I'm really liking the case these things come in. Look at that.
These are the T5 Mark II ANCs. Well, actually, just T5 ANCs, the active noise canceling new in-ear monitors, true wireless, and they are spectacular. They have Dirac and Bragi head motion sensing, artificial intelligence, and they just sound they sound so good. I'm such a particular person with sound in my ears and the fit and comfort, but their ability to work with the world around you, transparency mode, so you can hear outside noises if you need to hear that, or blocking it out with ANC. You know, the passive noise blocking with our ear tips, our comfort ear tips, is fantastic. And then on top of that with ANC, they are spectacular. And then the Dirac HD sound is a marvel in itself. You know, we do try to always reference the live performance for our benchmark for sound quality. We're all fanatical about live music.
I love that word, by the way.
Fanatical. Oh yeah, live music. Yeah, I do too. Live music. Oh, the other one, the fanatical. I'm just messing a good word, you, Giles. But they are a reference, truly, and that's kind of a little bit of an overused word. But we play musical instruments. We go see live performances as much as possible. But I would just add with these, so when you have the image and the full bandwidth in your ears, it's stunning, and it's almost a little shocking, because so many in-ears, they just don't convey the bass authority that you get in a live experience, and these do. And I even told Vlad, who is the product lead on this, that when I first heard them, it was the live performance, but I added another descriptive to it, that it was basically a monster pair of floor standers, Klipsch, of course, and then a couple subs, and that impact and that presence and image, but impact and depth that you get in an audio system that is delivering, the illusion of a live experience. That has been elusive for me with in-ears, but these deliver that. They give you this bass sensation that I just love and I can't get enough of. So, there's a lot of wizardry in this, but the sound, it starts and stops with the sound with me, And then, of course, you can inductive charge these things, put them on a pad, which is very convenient. So, these have a long battery life. You take them out, put them in. This case will charge them 3 cycles, I believe, right, Mike? And you go on a trip, and this is all you need.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Inductive charge it, so you can take this on a weekend, and you'll be set with just this if you want to go hiking. But just a lot of fun. Just a great new product that is also launching now. So we got this and these bars, so we're pretty excited about this season coming.
Yeah, so my take home from that is those IEMs are basically like putting a pair of Jubilees in your ears.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
If you can't get Jubilees, get those instead. It's the same experience.
Jubilee. Okay. Sure.
That's what we're striving toward. No, that's awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's always a pleasure to have you here with me. I look forward to seeing whoever makes it out to CEDIA. I'll be there as well.
Cool.
You always put on a stellar show at CEDIA. And I remember, back in, I guess it was 19. Yeah, I guess that was the last one. In Denver, and you had a stellar show there. So I'm looking forward to what you can do in Indianapolis, because like you said, in your backyard. Again, thanks for your time, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, good.
Thanks, Jiles. Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
All right, folks. So this is going to take us to our next segment, and I have a button for this. Now, let's take a break and stroll down to a cozy little place I like to call Content Corner. This is where we talk about all that cool content we love to consume on these badass systems that we build. And today, I've got a special guest with me. I think it's somebody that you all know and love, and his name is Mike. Miggity Mike. I can say it too, man.
What's going on? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound good, man.
All right, cool.
Right on. Welcome to the show, dude.
Yeah, I'm kind of like in a mobile setup right now. I mean, you've been to my place, you know where it's at. I'm in the dining room on a fold out table, and I had bought this stand for my camera for in there for this purpose exactly. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna set it up out here. I'm with the loves of my life over here, my equipment.
Oh yeah, no, that setup right there sounds really good too.
Yeah, and I'm using the Audio Technica that I had retired after I got that Shure SM7B. So,
oh, you're sounding good though, man.
Good, man, dude. Yeah. I caught the end of that, and honestly, those in-ear monitors that Mark was talking about look a lot, and they sound a lot like the ones I have, the Megalomanias from Cambridge. Mm-hmm. So I would be ecstatic to get my hands on a pair of those and kind of compare those two, because it seems they put more technology into it. But yeah, that was a great stream, dude.
Yeah, they're really up in their game as far as technology goes. You know, they pounded a lot of stuff into the 5s a couple of years ago, and it looks like they've then now expanded that out into the SOUNDBARs, and they're coming out with these new headphones or in-ear monitors with a lot of technology. So really cool. A couple folks jumped on. Herman finally made it. We were getting worried, Herman. I mean, I didn't see you. I didn't know what was going on, but glad that you made it on. And just a word for Herman. I'll be in China as long as the world is open in June of next year. I'm just letting you know. I got plane tickets and everything, man. Although I won't be on your side of the country. I'll be down in, Shenzhen, Hong Kong type area, Macau. But I'll be flying, and maybe I can even talk Mike into it. I don't know. We'll try.
We'll see.
All right. So we are talking content, and today's content is the Suicide Squad. This just dropped. And, there's a lot of hoopla about it, a lot of build up for it. And before we get into, what we thought about the movie, just a few of the specs. So, and this is something that we'll talk about a little bit more too. So, runtime was 2 hours and 12 minutes. It's a Dolby 7.1 mix with Atmos and DTS-X. It's got an IMAX 6-track, but no Aura tracks for this. No mix for Aura. It's all filmed red digital, so it's all good. And I think some of it was in 6K and 8K as well, as far as source format goes, which is pretty cool. Red Code Raw, 6K, 8K. So there's a lot of high quality source material that they're using to pull the 4K out of it. Now, the one interesting thing from a aspect point of view, or from a technical point of view, is that the aspect ratio was 1.9 to 1. So this is, following, I think, the more recent trend of taking the scope screen stuff and squeezing it back down closer to old television kind of formatting. And Mike, I'm just curious, did that impact you at all? For me, when I first noticed it, I was like, oh, what did they do? Because I didn't know it was going to be in 191.
Well, dude, your screen is like abnormally huge, so
2351 screen.
Dude, that thing, you could, Jesus. I hope they start. I wish they would give you the option, but I guess it's all about how it's filmed and all that good stuff. But
yeah, you get what you get.
It didn't affect my screen. I mean, I have like a 70 inch, I think, or 75 inch or something like that, television or a flat screen. No, it didn't affect me in any way. It came in just fine. I streamed it, so
I did the exact same. Streamed it.
Yeah.
Now I guess let's jump into the nuts and bolts a bit. What did you think about the movie itself?
Well, to be honest, Jiles, I wasn't impressed with the first one. For me, it was a kind of a letdown. There's a lot that went into that opinion. I don't think we have enough time to go over it all, but I believe it was poor writing. Also, the first one had better casting. I think the second one had lesser casting.
Birds of Prey, meaning the second one, or this one is the second one?
This one is the second one. Birds of Prey for me wasn't as bad as this. I thought Birds of Prey was kind of funny and kind of mildly entertaining. I made it through the whole thing. With this one, I didn't really make it through the whole thing. It didn't really capture my attention. I'm not really into like how they wrote it in. You and I were having this conversation earlier, and this is something I definitely wanted to address, is that I feel that Margot Robbie was kind of robbed of a really, really important role within the DC universe, which is Harley Quinn. I felt that perhaps, showcasing her in more of a darker way, how they did, The Dark Knight with Christian Bale, how they were doing Robert Pattinson's Batman, how they did, what's the other one? God, even the TV show, The Titans, that's supposedly after the cartoon, the Teen Titans, was way darker and way more serious than this. So, just kind of let down, dude. I wasn't feeling it. John Cena for me is not even
John Cena.
He's fun in the WWE, but for me, he totally ruined the last iteration of Fast and the Furious, and now he just didn't. Like I said, the cast was lackluster at best.
Sure. Yeah. So for me, there's no story here, right? And no character development really, right? So right. At the very beginning, and so I watched this with my wife and kids. At the very beginning of the movie, they throw you right into the action sequence, right?
Sure.
And everybody's like, "What's going on? What are they doing? What's happening?" Right? And it was a little, it was a little discombobulating because you don't really know what's going on. And then they kind of go back and they bring you into it and they fill you in. But I would rather have had a little more of the storytelling here. And ultimately, there is no story arc. There's no nothing. This is very much just like a one-shot movie. And one-shot movies are okay, but I feel like we have a new measuring stick for this type of movie. I mean, I think that people expect more than just this one little action shoot 'em up, whatever, and that's kind of what this was for me. I want to see like a larger universe. They've got all this vast wealth of characters that they can work with, and they can build these big large stories, but they choose not to for some reason.
Sure.
And I don't know what that deal is. So that's kind of what bothers me with this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as the sound effects go and stuff like that came in pretty good. That definitely shook the first 5 minutes of the movie shook the house, because there was nothing like explosions and however, like I said, dude, so
let's go through the patented Home Theater Fanatics rating system, and I've changed it because I think it was I'm trying to optimize this and not be so cumbersome. So we'll go through this. I've got 5 sections now, and I think it's a little bit better. Still might need a little refinement, but first is sound, right? So that's the same. What did you think? 1 to 10?
I'd give it a 6.
I gave it a 7, so it was all right. There's some bass in there. There's some music. It was all right, right? It
wasn't
not bad.
terrible.
Visuals?
CGI was kind of clunky, and that happened. Honestly, the CGI was worse than the first one, but especially at the end. I don't know if you remember the end of the first one when they're having this huge fight with this thing that's just throwing out this shit everywhere. Honestly, it was like it was actually the worst CGI I'd ever seen. So this is a step up from the first one. So I'll say, I don't know, give it a 5.
5. So I rated it a little bit higher, a 7. I thought it was okay, and I kind of like the big stupid starfish thing. I mean, I think the whole idea of the starfish was really stupid, right? And I think that was part of their comedy attempt. But it was all right. I gave it a 7. Now the next section is, whatever the movie is, how well did it do it? And if it's a horror movie, was it scary? If it's a comedy, was it funny? If it's action, was it good or whatever? So this is kind of an action-ish, comedy-ish thing. How do you think they executed on their intended purpose here?
Like I said before, buddy, your writing was bad, so I'm going to give it a 4. I mean, that's the problem. The comedy was like a 4, and the action was like a 7. So, I mean, there was action to it. There was some good action sequences. There was some good choreography when it came to that. However, when it came to anybody opening their mouth, it was like, oh God, another cringe moment. It
was cringy. It was cringy.
It just, yeah.
So I gave it a 6 myself. So kind of in there with you.
Mine, yeah, that's an average of my 2, my 4, my 4.
And then the last 2, which are new. And for me, really, story is super important. So I wanted to throw this in and see if this sticks as a section, but I added a story rating and then a rewatchability rating. And maybe rewatchability is a yes or no. I don't know. But for story, what did you think?
Horrible.
Yeah, me too.
No story arc, no storyline, no, there's nothing to captivate you. It's just
nothing.
It's just like an instant gratification. It's kind of like the Deadpools, but Deadpool does it right.
Oh no, I think Deadpool is like head and shoulders better.
Oh, absolutely,
much better.
I feel like they kind of went after that same shtick where
they failed.
But Ryan Reynolds,
I totally get it. I get it. Yeah, you're right. You're totally
Ryan Reynolds is just inherently funny, and people really aren't. And like I said, I think they robbed Margot Robbie of an opportunity to really explore that character, kind of how Joaquin Phoenix was able to explore the Joker. I felt that she should have been given that same opportunity, because I feel like she has good range as an actress, and the fact that she was given this role, and the fact that she took it is like, I know, easy money right now, but dude,
I bet there's a contract in there somewhere too. But
probably she has a 2 or 3 film. Oh well, she has a 3 film contract. She's done because she did. The first one, the Birds of Prey in this. So hopefully she can break
the first one. The first one, I think, for her inhabiting the character, I think was a lot better than this one, because I still remember, remember the opening scene where she's in the cage in prison. I mean, there are a lot of reasons to remember that, but I think she also really brought the insanity of the character alive.
She did.
And in this one, they made her very 2-dimensional.
Well,
right.
It was the same scenario in Birds of Prey.
It was all slapstick.
It was. Birds of Prey was just as bad.
And I think that the insanity of her character is driven by this deep sorrow and sadness and loss, and none of that came across at all in this movie. It was just like, ha ha, I'm crazy, blah, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for story, I gave it a 2.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah, and
I'll
then
match that.
rewatchability, I gave it, I guess I'll call it a no. I don't know that I'll
no.
ever watch it again.
That's a no for me.
Yeah, and then whether it's rewatchable or not, would it hit a demo reel? You know, if you were going to show off your system, would you use this? I don't think so either.
There's too many better things to show.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then the final question, the biggest one, you know, buy it, rent it, stream it, or just don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
I'm sorry. I know AA is a huge fan of, I'm guessing from his comments, but I'm sorry, buddy. We can't agree on everything, you know, and this is the one thing that it was painful, you know. It was, you know, I was hoping they would have redeemed themselves, but they actually like regressed instead of progressed from the first one. So it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, Jiles, I have a question for you, buddy.
Yeah, go for it.
Tonight, the missus and I were watching The Unholy. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
I have not. Yeah, I don't.
With Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the guy that plays Negan in Walking Dead. It's kind of, I liked it, so I kind of want you to watch it. Maybe we can discuss it next week because it's
Unholy.
Yeah,
is it new?
Yeah, it's a new horror movie right now.
Okay, I'm Googling it now just to see what this thing looks like because I'm totally unfamiliar with it. The Unholy.
Yeah, I kind of dug it. You know, I thought it was pretty cool, and I'd love to talk with you about it.
Okay, yeah. No, I see it. It's like you know, the cover is like a statue with like a lady with, I guess it's supposed to be like the Virgin Mary, but her hands are all like bloody and demonic or something.
Yeah,
it's kind of creepy.
It's pretty biblical, you know. It's pretty dark too. So it's more suspenseful, I'd say, than horror. So I'll let you kind of dig into it for yourself. But I'm excited to hear what you think. You know.
Yeah, I'll totally do that.
Yeah, I totally want to mount this thing a little bit higher so I can actually look at the camera.
Yeah, because you're like this. I'm all like,
I know. I'm like
texting. What's
like there he is. There. No, I'm actually looking at you when I'm looking down.
Right on.
I was texting. I'd be actually like.
He's like, if I was texting, I'd be having so much more fun.
No, I have a blast on these things, buddy.
So the a big thing that I think I need to call out for everybody is tomorrow. Tomorrow is What If. So I've been waiting for this to come out for a while now.
What if what?
The Marvel What If. That's the name.
That's a cartoon thing?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's based in the old the old comic book What If, with the Watchers, and they tell, you know, stories of what would have happened if this thing had happened. And I believe that the first episode is what if Tony Stark had not been blown up by his own weapon and got the shrapnel in his heart. What would have happened?
He would have remained a douchebag.
Yeah, everybody's like, he would be total douchebag. But that's right. So in the trailer, you see the bomb hit just like in the movie, and he looks at it, and in the movie it blows up and throws him back, right? And he gets the shrapnel. In this one, some superhero dude runs up, grabs it, throws it far away, and then it blows up way over there. And then Tony Stark just looks at him and says, "Oh, thanks, man. Or you saved me," or whatever. But does that mean there's never an Iron Man? Does that mean that there's never an Avengers? Does that mean that Thanos then snaps and it sticks one day? And, you know, all this, you know, what happens? What if? So I'm really excited to see that.
Maybe that's why they definitely slapped Loki on the hand for messing with the timelines, because shit can happen when you mess with the timeline.
You got to finish Loki. I'm not going to ruin this for you.
I will. Well, the thing is, I believe it's also setting it up for the next Spider-Man, which is going to explore the multiverse. So I kind of have a feeling that it's it's getting into that. And just from the first episode of Loki, I have a feeling that Loki really has no idea what is going on beyond what he knows already. So he doesn't know about this stuff. So I'm excited.
And you couldn't have anticipated what they were going to do, I don't think. Okay. I'm sure somebody out there was like, "Oh, I know what they're going to do," and they were right. But for me, I didn't see what they were building to. But this becomes fundamental for, what do they call it? Arc 4 or season
Phase 4, phase 4.
phase 4, or maybe even to phase 5, really, I think. Because phase 4, just, I don't know that there's a lot of meat in phase 4. It's hard to tell right now.
We got to think, I mean, before Endgame and Infinity War, that was phase 3, I think. So, I mean, that's 2 phases of just filler that they did before they got to the meat and potatoes.
Right.
So we might not see another Avengers type movie for another 6-7 years, you know?
Yeah, because these phases were like 12 years or something altogether.
Yeah, and I was happy that they did what they did. However, it left us kind of salivating for more. And not to mention the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League. Now,
which was excellent.
Yeah, it left me, it totally changed the game for DC. So it left me wanting more DC, and everybody's just kind of dragging their feet, obviously for good reason right now because of everything that's going on. But I don't know. I think it's time to start working again.
I agree. But super excited to see the movies coming out. You know, I posted up on my Facebook the next set of Marvel movies that are coming out, and you know, they're like, okay, whatever. So there's a Doctor Strange multiverse madness thing or whatever, and that's all right. And then there's another Ant-Man. Well, that'll be okay. Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Okay, if it can be as good as 1, I'll be happy, because I like both of those first ones. Number 1 and number 2, they're funny, and I like the characters, and have good music and stuff like that, right? So they were just fun. So hopefully they can do another one like that. But I don't know. They've Black Panther 2. I don't. He died. What are they going to do with that? And
they got to give it to somebody, and I think it's going to go to the sister. If I can assume, but it's going to be
Some people say that she could be Iron Lass.
Well, weren't they setting up the daughter of Iron Man to take over his mantle, though?
Some people said that it was the kid. Remember the kid that he hung out with, and then he showed up later at the funeral, all grown up? And everybody was like, who was that dude? Well, it's that kid after he's grown up, you know?
Well, I think they were just kind of throwing out some options for themselves, you know?
Yeah.
They're like, okay, we featured that kid in there. If we don't do nothing with him, no harm, no foul. He was still an integral part in Tony Stark's growth as a character and as a human. However, but if they do choose to use him, maybe like, hey, see, that was the Easter egg. So
yeah, we knew what we were doing.
Yeah, we
planned it so long ago.
The whole time.
You know, I do think they are pretty good about the pre-planning and the design, because, you know, the WandaVision and the Winter Soldier and Loki, all these things have kind of fit together to forward this new storyline for the movies.
Right.
So, you know, they have a set of folks out there that are planning this stuff out. So they're not winging it,
right?
For sure, which is exciting. But speaking of exciting, I think, you know, still for me this year is all about the Dune. I know we talk about that every week, but
dude, Dune and Ghostbusters for me are the 2 I'm anticipating and the 2 I'm gonna watch. And those are the ones I'm gonna, you know, get my large popcorn, my large cherry Coke, and I'm gonna sit down on my large IMAX comfortable luxury chair, and I'm gonna watch it. You know, I'm gonna watch it out, and I'll honestly, I don't know, depending on how good they are, I might watch them twice, but for sure I'm probably gonna end up buying both on Steelbook or some kind of commemorative physical media, as well as have it on my Plex server and all that via ripping my DVD. But
heck yeah, dude, you get that collectible going.
Dude, I love
how you like it.
Dude, I love the fact that we can just and I did a video about this a while back, is that it's so easy to just take a Blu-ray, rip it. It's hard to do a 4K, really hard to do a 4K, but there is a way. However, I haven't really messed with it yet. But honestly, if you're watching a movie on anything 70 inches and under, 1080 is more than fine.
Sure.
Now 4K, yeah, you're watching something on Giles's gigantor screen, that's going to definitely have
Size matters.
A bit of a difference for sure, because you're quadrupling the amount of pixels. But dude, I think it's is it quadrupling or is it like 4?
So 1080p to 4K is 4 times the pixels.
So,
and then 8K is 4Ks.
That's gonna be ridiculous, dude. How are they gonna
fit 16 times 1080p?
How are they gonna fit that on a disc? Like
they're not.
They can't.
It doesn't fit on any of the discs that we have today using the compression technology that's available. So that's a big issue, and that's why I say it's very possible that discs as we know them today, 4K is the end of the line for those, and I'll have to come up with something different. Just like when they went from DVD to Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
They might have to go from Blu-ray to, maybe they'll just start selling them on USB sticks.
Well, that's an option, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know. I think I'm going to try to buy as many 4K and Blu-rays as I can, as far as like movies I want to own forever. And then from here on out, who knows what's going to happen? Because I don't, they might do something like, Best Buy will carry the most current, film or current films that just came out, and then 86 them. I don't know, because I'm continuing to see Best Buy's selection dwindling and dwindling.
I mean, it's like this. I mean, it's doing nothing. Yeah. You know what I'm gonna do.
Oh, you're just gonna not Zapiti, but the other one, Kaleidoscape the shit out of everything. Yeah,
it is the way. All right, couple of comments. All right, so not content corner. It's James Gunn Avenue. That's right. Herman said, "Hi, Mike. What's up, dude?" Then Double A said he experienced. Herman. Yeah, Herman's the man. And he also says you have to come and visit him at his place too. He experienced Suicide Squad Double A on HBO Max. Looked and sounded great. Opened with Johnny Cash, the King. I did like the Johnny Cash opening. That was nice. Hi-Fi Haven watched it the night it dropped. Same here. I had no choice. I had to. Got to do it. Come to China, Mike. Come on, do it, Mike. Then Harley was very attractive. I think everybody agrees that she's Margot is a very, very lovely lady. So this is interesting, and I'm curious, Mike, what you think about this. So John Cena is getting his own show about Peacemaker in January.
I'm sorry, man. John Cena is like the Walmart version of The Rock. Like you can't. He's just not. He sucks as an actor. He's just. Oh God, he's cringy to watch. I can't. I like him as a wrestler. I think he was cool, but I can't watch him and take him seriously in any. I don't think he's gonna have any serious acting, dramatic roles. I don't think he's gonna be up for any Academy Awards anytime soon. So
John Cena, I challenge you to come on this show and protect your reputation. Tell him to bring it.
You can't see me. That's what he does.
Bring it, John Cena.
Giles never watched wrestling, so I
don't know. I remember this. The Von Erichs, the Iron Claw. Come on, somebody knows the Von Erichs, right?
No, you got to post up what AA just said at the end.
No, I was gonna get there.
All right,
because I know this is near and dear to your heart.
Okay, so AA says, "Just hope they wash the taste of the female Ghostbusters from their minds." If I could unwatch or unlearn or undo anything, it would be watching the female version of Ghostbusters. And let me make this clear: if there's any females watching, it's not because they were female. Even though I hate that one actress that ruins every movie I watch. She was the main character, I think.
The one from SNL.
They're all from SNL. Yeah,
the one that was in Wonder Woman.
Yes, that one, Kristen Wiig or whatever.
Yeah, Kristen Wiig
sucks. You suck, Kristen Wiig. I'm sorry, but
Kristen Wiig, I challenge you to come on this show and protect your reputation,
dude. It's just it was a horrible attempt to reboot something that didn't need to be rebooted. It needed to be sequeled. It needed to have its third. It needed to have its trilogy. And that's why I'm glad they're doing Ghostbusters Afterlife, because this will give all of the original fans, the real fans, closure for the first two movies, which is something we've been begging for since 1986 or 87. I think it was 87.
A long time,
bro.
So
Ages.
long.
Ages, you know. So
You
I'm
get
glad.
You get 8 GI Joe movies, but no Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and those GI Joe movies were just
Horrible.
average at best, you know. I like the Transformers better than that, but either way,
I've got to watch all of those with the kids. They've only seen the most recent one, so
okay. So wait. AA says the day The Rock wins an Oscar, I'm selling all my Blu-rays. Hold on, let me fact check this and see if The Rock has not in fact won an Oscar.
So I will say that I like The Rock.
I do
quite
too.
a bit. I think he's pretty good, and I haven't seen Jungle Cruise yet, but I really want to see Jungle Cruise. That's on my to-do list. I'm digging some Jungle Cruise. And then Bill Murray is in the new one. He's not dead yet.
Okay, so The Rock has won almost every award, including Razzies, Teen Choice Awards. The only honors that have eluded him in 15 years in Hollywood are the Emmys, the Grammys, the Oscars, and the Tonys.
So the only ones that matter.
Well, the
ones that matter.
Wait, the Emmys is for
television, daytime show. TV.
So that really wouldn't apply to him. The Oscar,
no, dude, he's got TV shows.
Well, nothing that's good. The Grammy is for singing. So the Oscar and what's the Tony for?
Musicals, Broadway.
Yeah,
live acting.
Oh, dude, I hope Hugh Jackman won a Tony for Greatest Showman.
Oh, Hugh Jackman's won everything. That dude is
awards.
Hugh Jackman, if you're out there watching, I love you, man. Keep it strong.
Okay,
keep it strong.
Okay, so The Rock has won a lot of MTV Generation Awards, People's Choice Awards, Kids' Choice Awards, which suits him, because that's his
shtick.
That's his genre. Now I'm going to tell you something right now. AA, hold on.
AA says that Kobe Bryant will win an Oscar before The Rock.
Okay, so something. Okay, AA, you ready for this?
Oh, here it comes.
Something that nobody else out there that you're watching right now. Nobody that you're watching. Well, hold on. I might have just effed myself right now.
Uh-oh.
I'm just gonna make sure.
I can't wait to hear what this is. I have no idea where you're going with this.
Oh man. Okay. Perfect. So I think The Rock needs to go back to WWE for one more little thing. So The Rock has won. The Rock has been a 10-time World Wrestling Federation or Entertainment Champion. Okay. John Cena is also a 10-time World Wrestling Entertainment Champion. So that I don't like. I don't like the fact that John Cena has many world championships as The Rock, even because The Rock's way better.
That's like 20 years of world champions right there between the two of them. Or can you have like world champions like twice?
Oh, dude, you can fight someone the next day and lose it. Hold on, real quick.
And that's fight in air quotes, right?
That sucks. Stone Cold only has 6, but Stone Cold I think held him longer than those two.
How about Hulk Hogan?
Ooh, that's a good one.
He's got to have a ton.
And this is world championships. They've also been other types of champions and within the company, but 13.
Yeah, see, that's my era. I can remember those guys when they
Stone Cold for me is my favorite. The Rock would probably be
is that Stone Cold Sean Astin or
Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Steve Austin.
Christ.
Okay,
bro.
Yeah, that's for the young people.
No,
I mean, that's not real wrestling.
People.
That's not real wrestling.
I'm 38 and I was watching it when I was 15.
Dude, like I said, Von Erich Brothers. Go look it up. The Iron Claw. That's some real shit right there.
You're the Iron Claw.
Dude, I love the Iron Man. They slapped the Iron Claw on somebody. It was over.
What? Chris Hemsworth is going to be playing Hogan in a new movie. That's rad.
Dude, Chris Hemsworth, I love you, man.
Dude,
muscles.
They just gave Hulk Hogan a huge ego boost there.
I mean,
he was never that good looking.
Never. I mean, Chris Hemsworth, he's like a whole different level. That dude, I don't know what kind of genetic cocktail lottery prize he won, but damn, he won it.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Are we calling it?
Yeah, I think we have hit the end of the night. A little bit of cleanup. You know, the Vincent audio video for Mike dropped just the other day. Powered bookshelf battle video that we worked on.
This dude, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be coming out here pretty soon. A lot of stuff in the pipe to get done. I'm like so upside down in work. I don't know what to do with myself. Crazy. Any new video action your way?
No, but I'd like to make an announcement on your show if I could.
Sure, go for it.
I actually just got the news today, a couple hours ago. That's why I haven't been able to call you. I recently accepted a position of writer, a writer and contributor for StereoNet US. They're expanding from the UK and Japan and all that to the US. And, you know, after some emailing and everything, we got it all down. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of content for them. I'm going to be doing some YouTube stuff for them. I'm going to be doing actually covering shows for them. So
that's awesome, man.
RMAF this year, I'll be representing StereoNet instead of the beloved Audio Architects. But I do want to thank everybody that has watched Audio Architects. Audio Architects is not going to go anywhere. I'm still going to be doing weekly content for Audio Architects and posting like a wild man. However, I am going to be taking on this extra responsibility to further immerse myself into the audio world. So
that's awesome, man. Glad to see you expanding those horizons.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Right on. Well, everyone, go check out, what was it again?
Keep checking out Audio Architects because that's
check out Audio Architects.
That's still my bread and butter.
Don't worry about this other stuff. Or StereoNet US.
It's going to be launching soon, so we're kind of just getting everything together and going from there.
Cool. All right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us today. As I always say, your time is valuable, so I appreciate when you spend it here with me and us. And with that, we'll see you guys in the next video.
Thanks for watching, guys.